Hello Southies, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cece and today you are watching a speed build, and in the speed build I'm doing a community lot. It will be an art supply store slash cafe, tiny little cafe attached to it. And so right now I'm working on the art supply portion, and it'll be kind of a gallery art supply studio type of build, and it is meant to be owned by one of my characters from my Frozen Heart Let's Play, Vampire Let's Play. So this will be owned by John Alexander. We probably won't see too much of him in this build because he is a vampire, and so he won't be here during the day, but maybe we'll see him at night working on inventory, that kind of thing. So in game, I'm probably going to leave it as a cafe on the whole. You'll see me put the cafe in beside it here in a little bit, just because, like I said, there's no reason to make it a retail store, because in my mind, John won't actually be working here or keeping the store. He'll have employees that do that. It is situated in Brindleton Bay, so there'll be human sims working here, and I don't think that the humans that work for John know that he is a vampire. They'll just think that he's a very, hands-off type of boss, and a lot of the business that he does from home. So I imagine that he's also an art dealer, so from home he'll be working with private clients to find and price and sell art, and he is an artist as well, so he'll probably sell some of his own items, but for the store he's not there all the time. He does a lot of stuff kind of when the store is closed. So here is the cafe portion, and it's called the Green Bean, and so I was a little bit inspired by the upcoming Eco Living pack, expansion pack, and hopefully when that pack comes out I can put in some more items to kind of signify that this place is a very eco-friendly type of store. It's very small, there's not a lot of seating, so they're trying to reduce their carbon footprint, if you will, and I imagine that everything that is used in the build is either recycled materials, locally sourced food and produce, that type of thing, and it's a very kind of eco-conscious type of place. So I am now just trying to figure out the structure. When you make really small builds, I think the hardest part is to fit everything that you want in and fit it in a way that makes sense. So I am kind of trying to move things over, make it a little bit, make the studio a little smaller and the cafe just a touch bigger, just so I have space to put in the coffee machine and that kind of thing. Usually I'll add in like a tea area. I'll put in like the little teapot. I didn't do that here. I might when I'm doing in the gameplay, just because I didn't have the room for it, but I might add it somewhere in the game. But really, you could use this build however you want. I think it looks really perfect in Brindleton Bay, actually, on the dock. That everything around it looks super industrial and kind of old school, and then you have this super uber modern commercial building just situated in all of it. So now I'm going to start working on the interior of the build. I'm going to start with the studio. If you notice, there are no windows. Two reasons for that. Reason number one, John is a vampire, so he's not going to want a lot of windows. I imagine when he first purchased this building and renovated it, he probably did work in the store just to build it up, but he made sure that he did not want any windows because he did not want to die while inside the store. So the only natural light that comes into this building is going to be from the front door. And then another reason why there aren't any windows, and you'll notice this if you're someone who likes to go to galleries and that kind of thing, sunlight can fade art, and so a lot of places don't have windows or a lot of windows because they don't want the art to fade, and so that's another reason. So in the store, I kind of went debug item crazy because I wanted it to feel very a place that's very used. And what I really like about it is the build itself is very black and white. No real color in it, but because of all the items that are inside the store, it feels very colorful. And I really love that. And I imagine that a lot of the stuff, aside from the supplies, well, maybe the supplies, John sources locally. So maybe he has someone that builds the easels and crafts all the tools, and that's where he gets those items from. And then all the artwork comes from local artists and things. So I like to put a lot of background when I'm making builds, basically to kind of help me and my creativity sort of go crazy, So here we have these canvases, and over here I decided to put a little station where we have cameras and things, since photography is art. And here is some things for kids. I don't think John likes kids, but maybe one of his regular customers who has kids said, "Oh, you should sell stuff for children, for little kid artists." So he does. So here I'm putting in some of these statues that you could do for the woodworking table. I wish I had enough room to put woodworking benches in here, because I like to use that as sort of another way to create art, that someone is handcrafted artwork, but maybe you can add it in somewhere. I thought one real sort of feasible way that you could utilize this space without making it a retail store is set up the little flea market table and the flea market art supply. Maybe you can put it outside the build and just sell your art or sell art, kind of like a sidewalk sell during more winter and spring months. So that'd be a cool way to use this build without actually making it an retail store, just so that you can still have the cafe going. Another, I put sort of pictures of the interior of the builds on my Twitter, and I had one of my followers comment saying that it kind of looked like a paint and sip, which we have those kind of places here where I live, and I've been to a couple and they're really fun. So that's a thought that you could make this build. I might try to build something like that somewhere else. That sounds like something that would be really cool in maybe Windenburg or Newcrest, but you could turn this build into that and maybe create if you have get together, create a club that likes to paint and drink. So that would be something cool. That was a really cool idea. Gosh, I really like that idea. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to build it. Or maybe in a different LP make this. But yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of still putting it together. I didn't want the studio to feel super cluttered, but I definitely wanted to feel like there's a lot of stuff that's for sale in there. And now I'm working on the cafe, and again, it's very small. There's not a lot of seating inside. I wanted it to feel a little bit industrial, and then I add in a lot of plants and things like that to kind of signify its sort of eco-friendliness. And I really like it. You'll see in the screenshots that I use Mela from Frozen Hearts to kind of help display this place. Yeah, she's, I think, at some point talking to Father Winter, so it's really cool. What else can I say? I will say that I have been so overwhelmed by the response to Frozen Hearts. I just put out the first episode and everyone seems to love it. It's probably one of my Ooh, as far as not most watched Let's Play, obviously, but the most watched within the day. Like, I've had, as of right now, over 30 views, and normally it takes me like a week or so to get 30 views on a Let's Play or any of my videos. So I feel like that means you guys are really responding to it, and I'm getting a lot of comments about how they like the stories, how you guys like the story so far. So I appreciate it so much. I was kind of nervous to do a sort of supernatural Let's Play, only because as much as I like supernatural entertainment, I just didn't know how to tell a story that was going to be unique and wasn't just a lot of me trying to go through the motions of the vampire gameplay, which I am doing, but that's not the main point of the Let's Play. The main point of Let's Play is to tell a fun little story, and then as we go along, we'll see my main character, Angelique, kind of level up in her vampire powers. And so the interior of the cafe is pretty much coming together. I'm putting it, you'll see me kind of go back and forth, be very indecisive. You've watched my Let's Build series, which I am working on another Let's Build series. It is coming. You'll kind of see my process is a lot of me making a decision about something and then changing my mind. But I think that's probably a lot of builders. I don't put too much thought or pre-thought when building, other than maybe looking for reference photos for the interior. A lot of my building is sort of as I go along, just see what sort of hits me, how the space speaks to me, especially when I'm doing like residential builds. Here, real quick, I decided to put in a little area that looks like maybe someone is working here or works from this cafe or studying. So I thought that was really cute. Oh, and then here I decided to put in some more seating outdoors so that you can like look out into the pier while drinking your coffee. And so I use this awning that I want to say is from Get Together. I would have used two, but then I realized the second one was blocking the back door, and so I get rid of the second one. But there's just some I put down some base game benches back here and a little warmer so that you can eat and drink here during winter months or the colder months. And you'll see in a little bit, I pull up the build by tab to see if I've met all the cafe requirements. And one requirement that I did not meet was I did not have 6 chairs. And of course, I don't want there to be a lot of seating and things in it. So what I'm going to do, you'll see, is I'm going to create a basement, and I'll just put 6 chairs in the basement, and it's inaccessible to the public. So you can't go down to the basement. And then I went and I found these solar panels, but I am coming up on the end of the build and onto the screenshots. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by way of pressing the like button, comment down below what do you think, and if you haven't already and you want to see more content from me, please subscribe. I try to post every single week, and I'd love to have you be a part of the Southie family. And as always, my name is Cece, and I promise never to break your game. Bye.
You get it by now. Tell me what you learned in grade school. Give it to me like you want it. Did you forget that golden rule? Why is our love at one-sided? It should really be give and take. Fill you up and leave me empty. Baby, was that my mistake? Covering these feelings, going through changes. I'm just so mad right now, I can't even think straight. So I'ma just tweet it and delete